Hello fellow readers, welcome to my YouTube channel Where the Star is the Book. Today I would like to talk to you about what I found to be a particularly shining star in the shape of La Cravate. How cool is this cover? It's a book written in 2012 by the Austrian writer Milena Michiko Flasar. The English title for this is I Call Them Necktie. What is this book about? Well, to talk about the matters described in the book, first I would have to describe the two main characters. We have Taguchi Hiro and Ohara Tetsu. Taguchi is a teenager, a hikikomori, which means he's a kid who has decided to relinquish all social ties and live as a social recluse in his room. He spends 2 whole years in his room until one day, obsessed with a crack he saw on a wall facing his window, he decides to venture out into the world again until he reaches a park. In the park he meets the other main character, Ohara Tetsu. Ohara is a salaryman in his 50s, so wearing a suit and a tie. But strangely enough, he spends his whole working hours in a park bench, sometimes dozing off. You can see that there's something definitely up, or should we say down, with these characters. The book is cleverly written as if it were an assemble of introspections of personal entries in the journal of the fates of these two main characters. Listen to this on page 21. It's Ikikomori describing his personal feelings when he sees Ohara dozing off in the park. Compassion, or the sudden impulse that led me to try and cover him up. And this led me to think about compassion. To me, compassion is indeed the quickest and most sincere access door to another human being. Because unlike all other access doors like love or friendship, compassion is activated by our flaws rather than by our virtues, and that's a very humane feature. There's a ton of talking points I found about the book. Even when I was skimming it, I felt the urge to reread the whole book, which is very rare in my personal experience. First talking point: habits, for most of us, can work as a surrogate for meaning, especially in relationships. Listen to this description on page 158. This is a description by Ohara's wife of her relationship with her husband, whom she loves very much. He wanted to keep up with his promise of everyday life, and me, my promise of standing next to him on behalf of that everyday life. I was made aware of the beauty that rested in all of that, of the still beauty that inhabited our attempt to remain faithful to the decisions we had took. Another point up for debate brought on by this book is that family is the first place, the first stage where we get to wear our social masks. Listen to this on page 78. We had concluded a pact. It was better not to know anything about each other, and that pact holds the cohesion of families through several generations. We were bearers of masks. Another talking point is that the value of youth is only consensual to people who are no longer young. Finding your own place in life while being so immature and being surrounded by other people who are so immature is a very hard pill to swallow. It only shines when you look backwards. Another talking point is that true love is worthy of a good lie. To try and protect true love and its million ways to make you happy, you should establish a picket fence of a lie against the menaces of reality and society, because Unlike true love, society has a million ways to make you unhappy. So, I believe that a good relationship, true love, should have a good lie, a good altruistic lie at its basis. Another interesting talking point I've found is that there is no worser or fastest decline than when we lose our self-esteem. When we lose our self-esteem, it's all downhill from there. Another point I was reminded of by this book is that being necessary is in itself a reason to live. When other people need us, our mission in life becomes gigantic. We go from being perennial and intergalactic John Does and Jane Does into being Galactus ourselves. Another point I was reminded of when reading this book is that there's always an undeniable pleasure in watching other people's misery, because it reminds us that the sacrifices we have made to achieve our status were not in vain. Another point is that normality is so demanding because it is paid for with all the things you have decided not to do. There's no narrative without omission. Listen to this on page 159. What we didn't do, what we neglected to do, has sometimes a harsher consequence than the things we have decided to do. So, this is mankind for Milena Michiko Flasar in this book. A brotherhood of people, most of them with great skeletons in their closets, trying desperately to avoid any public displays of their personal flaws. The only negative point I would accuse the book of is that sometimes it goes a little overboard on the tearjerker aspects of things, and there are a few outbursts of cheap sentimentality which I found neglectable. Other than that, it's a very introspective book. It will make you ponder such issues such as brutality, such as bullying, such as marriage, such as life, such as friendship, such as parenting. It's a very heartbreaking book and also uplifting, but mostly on the heartbreaking side of things. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope to see you again for our next review. And until then, please read on and don't forget to take the vitamins for your spirit. See ya!